What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. Hope you're all doing well, staying safe, all that good stuff. Last thing in the world I probably need to be doing at this point is showing off another stack of CDs that I've gotten in the mail, especially after the last video. That one was received pretty well. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that 100 CD grab bag that I did. I enjoyed getting that in and working my way through some of that material. Luckily, I am off of work the next couple of days. Could not have come at a sooner time. I was almost at my breaking point in dealing with people. That's one horrible thing about being in the retail line of work. Sometimes the general public can kind of wear you somewhat thin. I have a nice little stack here that I've gotten from eBay. This is a seller on eBay that I've shown several updates so far that I've purchased through this seller. He's becoming one of my favorite sellers to purchase from. I'm always finding some obscure type stuff, a nice little mix between obscure and underground stuff, and he always combines shipping for me, and I get some really good deals from his stuff. I'm going to link up his eBay auctions in the description. He has some stuff ending tomorrow, actually, so maybe you can jump on there, kind of go against me in some bid wars. Maybe you'll outbid me and win some of the stuff that I'm looking at that he has ending tomorrow. He also has some stuff ending, I think, next week. So there's some pretty good stuff going right now. Definitely go check out his auctions. He's awesome to work with. As I said, if you're winning more, if you're bidding on more than just say you win an auction and you're bidding on some others, just let him know. And he's more than happy to combine shipping and that type stuff. Just going to get right into this. Pretty decent little stack. As I said, I'm so thankful I'm off the next couple of days. I have that huge box that I had in from Severed Records. I have this stack, and I just have countless other things that are just sitting on the shelf that need to be listened to, needed to be heard, and I just haven't had the time to hear them. So, very thankful for that. Enough rambling. Just going to get right into this. I have a nice mix. There's some grind in here. There's death metal, black metal, doom metal, all types of tough stuff. So a little bit for everybody. I tried to kind of mix it up, so you get a little bit back and forth, a little bit of everything as I show these off. As always, in the description under his eBay auctions, I will list all of the albums, bands, and album titles in order. That way, if you see something that you want to look a little deeper into, something you want to check out for yourself, you at least have the band and the album title to get you started in that search. First up, we have some death metal grindcore out of Sweden. Actually, I did not know that they had put this release out. I have a couple of their older releases. This is Afgrund with the Dystopian. I can tell it's going to be one of those videos already. And I'm fighting glare. So a lot of these albums that I'm going to be showing today have a very dark artwork theme going. So I think the glare is going to be an issue today. This was released in 2018 on Self-Made God Records. As I said, I didn't even know that they had released this one. I own a couple of their previous releases. I think I was introduced to this band through a Willow Tip Records grab bag many years ago. I enjoyed everything that I've heard from them. A lot of a kind of Nazum worship going on in their material, but very solid stuff. This album is very solid as well. I was super stoked when I saw this going for auction. I was like, man, I didn't even know that had been released. Checked it out. I loved it, and won the auction. And now I'm glad to have that in the collection. Next up, switching gears a little bit, we have a this one's kind of hard to pigeonhole into a certain genre. Uh, Death metal, black metal, definitely there. There's sprinkles of doom in this as well. This is Tongues with their 2014 EP entitled, I'm going to butcher this, Thelésis Ignis. Yeah, this, as I said, this is their 2014 EP. This is just some pretty decent stuff out of Denmark. I do believe I enjoyed their full length that came out in 2017 a bit more than this. This was, I believe, their debut release. They had some good ideas that sprang up on this EP, and it was kind of a good, I guess, starting point for the project. I hope they release some more stuff in the future. As I said, if you're going to look up something from Togs, this one's okay, but I think I would go with their 2017 full length. The name of it is also hard for me to pronounce, and I can't just remember it off the top of my head. But definitely pretty solid stuff. As I said, it's kind of I mean, it's death metal, black metal with sprinkles of doom. the way that they able to mix that stuff together, there is some originality even on this little small EP. Pretty solid stuff. I mean, I'm glad to have that in the collection. Anyway, it is something that will get rotation. I just want to hunt down that full length as well. I think that will be in my collection before just too terribly long. Next up, we have the band with the probably the weirdest logo, band logo that I'm going to show today. This is Verberis, and that's the band logo. As I said, the glare is killing me. It's that time of day as well where the sun's going to be coming in the window. So I have a window sitting right there at this point of the day, which tends to be more often than not my time to record. That's where the sun comes in. This is their full length from 2016 entitled Vexamen. And as I said, they just got the probably the strangest logo that I'm going to show out of anything today. This is nasty, blasphemous black metal, black and death metal, almost into realms of war metal at times, just with the sound. Pretty good stuff. Nothing just groundbreaking. It's from New Zealand. I think this band was out of New Zealand. Released on Iron Bonehead Productions. Iron Bonehead's pretty good at releasing some very good underground stuff. Not too bad. Almost an acquired taste as some of those kind of Australia, New Zealand bands, especially black metal bands, kind of have a similar, almost off-putting sound at times. As I said, it's almost like an acquired taste, and then once you kind of get that feel for it, you start to crave hearing more of it. If that makes any sense whatsoever. Speaking along that same vein, another band that easily falls into that category. This is some Australian black metal. This is Temple Nightside. I've shown some of their stuff before. This is their first release, their debut demo. And as I said, that glare is just killing me today. This one is entitled Propecies of Malevolence. There we go. Prophecies of Malevolence. Said debut demo, ambient black metal. Ambient, and the fact that the ambience is in lo-fi, low production. Um, Noisy type stuff at times. Pretty good. I mean, I do, as I said, it's a bit of an acquired taste, but once you get that, it's hard to explain. Once it sinks its teeth into you, it's something that you just kind of crave wanting to hear more of, especially for me after I've had like this work stint that I've been on has been absolute hell. Working in retail right now is absolute hell, and this will take me down into the pits of absolute hell, and I can just kind of space out and get over the work week that way. Pretty good stuff out of Australia there. That's Temple Nightside. Next up, we have some drony, very, very drony doom / sludge metal. This is Stumm with their debut full length entitled simply One, or just the Roman numeral one. Very, 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 very slow stuff. If you're not into drone, you're going to hate this. Some of you would think this was absolutely boring. For me, this is another one that I could just kind of space out. It's almost good type background music. It's not something that I can put on and just stay uh, immensely focused in. It's not something that I can just put on and focus entirely on. Your mind's going to wonder why you listen to this. It's just got that slow, plodding, doomy sound going on. I mean, it like repetitive, very repetitive, the same riff over and over and over for minutes. I know that's not going to be some of your cup of tea. For me, as I said, it's pretty good, like background type stuff. Pretty good listen. I mean, it's something definitely not something I'm going to listen to every day, but there are times in my life where there's an itch that needs to be scratched as far as drone and that type of stuff goes, and that will definitely do that for me. Next up, we have some more doom metal. This is Lento with Anxiety, Despair, Languish. This is out of Italy. It's instrumental, atmospheric sludge metal. Very, very interesting stuff. Almost experimental stuff. At times, I wish there were vocals on this, but unfortunately, there are not. It's just well performed, atmospheric type sludge metal. Pretty good stuff. As I said, I do wish, especially with the artwork, that's kind of what drew me into this. Didn't know exactly what to expect when I got it. This was a bit of a blind buy, but solid stuff. The musicianship on this is performed flawlessly. Wish there were vocals, but for what it is, that is a fantastic release. Next up, I'm going to butcher this band name. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know much about this band at all. They're kind of masked in anonymity. I think that's how you pronounce that. There's not much info about this band out whatsoever. Swarb. It's a mix between a B and a P. Black metal, black and death metal. I have no idea where this band is from. They This was released on Demon Worship, and I think Iron Bonehead had a hand in releasing this. I don't see them on listed on here anywhere. I can't read the two logos on the back because it's just pretty dark stuff. This is very trance-like, ritualistic black metal, black and death metal. The name of this compilation is Omines Pestilentiae. As I said, I will link up all of this in the description because I know I'm butchering some of the words on this. This band has a few releases, a few demos. This is some demo work made into a compilation. There are no names for the demos. There are no names for the releases. There are no pictures of the bandmates. I don't know how many band members are in this. I don't know much at all. This is a project that doesn't mask itself in anonymity. Man, I don't know why I can't talk today. They don't mask their identities for the sake of being pretentious or that type of stuff. I think it's more of a sense they want you to focus entirely on the music that they're producing, and this is pretty good stuff. As I said, it's just got this ritualistic, trance-like type, esoteric type sound. Phenomenal stuff. I wish I could find out a little bit more about the band. As I said, none of the tracks have titles. They're all just numbered, and none of the releases. It's kind of hard to tell the stuff apart because everything's just Roman numerals and numbered that way. But it is a pretty solid release, pretty solid compilation of demo material. Next up is one that I'm sure everybody on this video, everybody that's watching this video is already familiar with. It's probably the least underground of all of these. It is a classic. If I can get it out of the plastic, we have 1994's Nailbomb. This was a release between Max Cavalera from Sepultura and Alex Newport of Fudge Tunnel working together on Nailbomb with their only full-length Point Blank. Fantastic, blistering thrash metal. This was about the time that Max and Sepultura were at odds. They had just released Chaos AD, which was not received very well at all. And the fact that he was able to be a part of a project that released something just this ferocious and this acclaimed probably made him feel like $1,000,000. This is a phenomenal release. Unfortunately, it's the only full length from Nailbomb. Amazing stuff. If you haven't checked this out, do yourself a favor and do that. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you've already heard this, but just a classic. This is a reissue on Roadrunner. I think this one was reissued around 2004 and so maybe about a 10-year reissue. But fantastic, just blistering thrash metal that almost borders into that territory of death metal sometimes. Just phenomenal stuff. Changing gears again, we have some. This is stoner rock that teeters into the metal area. It almost is reminiscent of maybe some witchcraft. I know witchcraft is stoner metal. This is very kind of bluesy stoner rock that does at times cross the line over into almost a very metallic sound. This is Vug, VUG, with their self-titled release, Vug. I was pretty impressed with this. This was a bit of a blind buy. And I enjoyed this much more than I thought I was going to when I gave this my initial spin. I love the kind of bluesy undertones in this. Reminds me of something that I could easily be walking down Beale Street on a weekend night and hear this playing coming out of a club. Fantastic stuff. The vocals on this are pretty strong as well. I enjoy the vocalist voice. So solid stuff. Not something that I would have probably picked up just on my own without going at it. I guess it's not something that I would have actively searched out to pick up. But now that I actually have possession of this and I've listened to it a couple of times, I'm glad that I went ahead and pulled the trigger and picked it up. That's the good thing about these type of auctions. I see a few things that I want, and then I'm introduced to some new stuff because I see the prices on stuff going. It makes me want to go check it out and lump it in and take advantage of that combined shipping. And then all of a sudden, I'm finding all types of good stuff that I'm thoroughly enjoying. Next up, we have some more doom metal. Quite a bit of doom metal in this. This is doom metal, kind of sludgy doom metal, but it has a very hardcore vibe going on in this as well. This is Seven Sisters Asleep with Ezekiel's Hags. This was released on Relapse Records. Relapse is very good at having, I guess, very pronounced in having bands that are steeped in hardcore roots. That there's so much hardcore influence in so many of the bands that they sign and that they deal with. You can tell that that is a genre that many people within the relapse camp are enjoy, I guess. I'm just at a loss. My brain is not working. I'm sorry. It's just kind of brain rot dealing with idiots for 5 days straight, the whole weekend open to close. It's just, yeah, it's very taxing. So I apologize if I'm not up to snuff on this video. It said, sludgy, doom metal, drenched in hardcore. Fantastic stuff. I love the artwork on this. Uh, 2016, I think, is when this came out, but solid, solid stuff. This is one that if you're watching this video that you haven't seen this, I would recommend checking this out. It's just well balanced doom and hardcore. Vocals on that are pretty good as well. Next up was kind of a 3 CD. They were all sold together in the auction. This is of Spire, of Spire and Throne with Sanctum and the Light is the full length. This is more doom metal. This is a very harsh sounding doom metal. It's got some very harsh soundscapes on this, and also two little EPs that came with this as well. There was a Vagory and Trial of Failure, I think was the name of those. There's not much to those, just the little sleeves. I haven't really spent much time with the two little EPs or demos. This was my only really introduction to of Spire and Throne, so that'll be the one that I actually show. Said it's just doom metal draped with some really, really harsh soundscapes, really harsh stuff going on this. Very difficult to digest, listen at first as well. This is another one that's kind of a album or release that has to grow on you, but it is one that has done that, and I'm looking forward to checking out the demo material, but I just haven't gotten around to that yet. Next up, we have the Lurking Fear. This is some death metal out of Sweden. The name of this release is out of the Voiceless Grave, and I'm not a super big fan on the way this digipack. It's almost like it's backwards or something or sideways. I'm not a huge fan of the packaging on this, but it is a solid work of material. As I said, it's almost like everything on it just seems backwards. This is as I said, Swedish kind of crusty, old school sounding death metal that is all HP Lovecraftian themes, and I just hate the packaging on it. It's just very nightmarish death metal. I guess it's a nightmare package as well. But the music on this is super strong. I'm just not a fan of the packaging. This was released on Century Media, so I guess that's why the packaging, because Century Media always tends to do some weird things. They try out all this weird stuff, and instead sometimes they're a little bit more focused on the presentation than the music, I think. And that's an album that's an album that the music should speak for itself because it is a phenomenal release. Next up, we have some Germanic black metal. This is Krýs with Krys with Hexen. Pretty good stuff. Very underground sounding stuff. This was released on the Hidden Art. It is numbered out of 500. I have actually number 16. I don't know if you'll be able to make that out. Pretty good stuff. Just underground, traditional black metal. There we go. Don't have just a whole lot to say about that. I mean, it is pretty solid stuff. I actually want to spend a little bit more time with it. I may come back at some point and do an album spotlight or EP spotlight. It is the only release from Krýs. This was released in 2017, and it's just a demo, 4-track demo. But it is the only release from them. As I said, I want to spend a little bit more time with that one. I don't. I was kind of rushing through this, and I'm not just enough versed in that yet to speak on it too much. But I did want to show it because I purchased it with this entire lot. I love the artwork on it, but I don't want to do it any disservice by misspeaking on it. Next up, we have Device with Godless. This was released in 2018. This is just a blistering Brazilian deathy thrash attack. I mean, this is ferocious. It is a solid release. This was released on Narcoleptica Productions, and it just has that South American death metal, that South American thrash sound that's just molded together so well on this. They're able to combine elements of thrash and death metal together so flawlessly that you're just pummeled from this album from start to finish. It is fantastic stuff. This is probably one of my favorite releases that I've gotten out of this stack as well. Fantastic stuff. 2018 EP Device with Godless. Definitely check that one out if you have not done so. Then last but not least, we have a release from my home state here in Tennessee. This is Ululatum Tollunt, I think is how you pronounce that band name. I'm sorry if I butchered that, guys. That is Latin for which means war cry, which is actually pretty spot on for this. This is kind of blackened death metal, very primal sounding blackened death metal. The name of this album is Noose of Usurpian. Quantum Noose of Usurpation, I think is actually the album title for that. 2017 EP, another EP, quite a bit of EPs and demo material in this video. Said this is out of Tennessee, fantastic stuff. They actually have a Bandcamp up for this. I think this was on Invictus Productions, and very haunting sounding kind of Black and Death, and very just in your face Black and Death. Pretty good stuff. Do enjoy this. I have to support anything out of Tennessee. I think some of the members may be out of Alabama, kind of a little bit of all over working together for that release, but it is some pretty solid stuff. As I said, good stuff. Check it out. All of these came from eBay. I'm linking up jaggerjones in the description. Go check out his auctions. Brian is an awesome dude who runs that seller account. He'll take care of you. There are some albums ending tomorrow, as I said, that I'm bidding on, so we can go get in a little bid war together. You might have some bragging rights, taking something out of my hands that I wanted. But he's a good dude. I don't mind losing auctions if it's going to help him out. So that's all I've got for today. Like I'm saying, that's all. Like I haven't just shown a nice little stack. I have more stuff that I need to show. I'm still getting over the 100 CD hangover from Severed Records. There might be a little bit of a lag as far as new material. I don't think I didn't get Metalhead box this month, but I'll be back on the Metalhead box wagon next month. So have that to look forward to. There's some stuff trickling in still that and then there's some stuff I'm still waiting on. There's some international orders that are just kind of hung up in limbo right now, but that stuff should be on the way. Follow my Facebook, follow my Instagram. That will also be linked up in the description. I'm going to shut up, quit rambling. Stay classy, stay metal. I'll see you guys all very soon. I promise.